So if you have a parent who smokes, chances are they probably told you not to smoke and not to engage in smoking, possibly even with a cigarette in their hands while they're saying that. Or maybe you have an overweight friend who tells you, try to go to exercise. Why don't you exercise? It is good for you. The first impulse that you are going to get is a variation of, you should never bring up the subject of health until you look at yourself, your eating habits and smoking and drinking habits, and then you can talk about that. Now maybe you are nicer than me, but it's going to be a variation of that. Look who's talking. See yourself first before you talk to me about that. How can you tell me not to smoke with a cigarette literally in your hand while you're smoking? What do these people sound like? Are they hypocrites? I don't think so. I do understand that it makes sense that the first reaction we are going to get is the one I talked about, and that sounds justified. But if we learn the art of listening, we are going to quickly realize that a piece of advice is good or bad, regardless if the person that says it does it or not. It's just objectively good or bad without paying attention to who's saying it. In fact, the person who's given you the advice doesn't even have to exist. Kind of like fictional characters. Have you heard people talk about how Socrates never existed? And then people that like Socrates actually defend it and say, no, I can cite you 10 evidences about how Socrates actually was a real person. Both of them are actually missing the point. The defender should say that it doesn't matter if Socrates existed or not, we can still benefit from the written words about what he said, because the things he said are either good or bad, regardless of whether he's real or not. What I'm saying is that good advice doesn't cease to be good just because the person who's saying it doesn't do it. Like I said, he doesn't even have to exist. And these days, we look at pictures on social media of somebody's face and written text next to it. And this usually means that he said it, even though he doesn't have to. And it doesn't matter. We don't actually pay attention and try to look up if he really said it or not, or who actually said it. We just look at the piece of text and see if it's a good advice for us that we should take, or we think it's just bad advice. If you are truly looking for advice and to improve yourself, then you should take it from good people, bad people, and also from people who don't even exist. Now, let us contemplate the way we look at these people. Why do we call them hypocrites, and why do I think that they are not hypocrites? You see, a hypocrite is someone who says he believes something, but in his heart actually believes something else. A smoker knows in his heart that smoking is actually bad for him, but he still smokes. If he says, I believe that smoking is unhealthy, but really in his heart, deep down, doesn't actually believe that, and he believes that smoking is healthy, or at least neutral, that it doesn't do anything, then he is a hypocrite, because he is announcing a belief that he doesn't really believe in his heart. The people that drink alcohol, they know that it's actually not good for them, and they know that it's actually affecting their livers, but they do it anyway. Does this mean they are hypocrites? Technically not. They are not guilty of being hypocrites. They are guilty of not practicing what they're preaching. I cannot go to the gym and tell people to go exercise and drink more water. That would still be good advice, regardless if I do it or not, because I believe that it's good. Even though I don't do it, I believe that it's good. Now, I admit that all of this is just getting too technical, and we just call those people hypocrites because, their actions don't match what they're saying. And like I said, I admit that this is getting too technical. I think I like to be analytical, and I would like to share that with you so that maybe you can benefit or analyze things a little bit closer. And the real reason we condemn these people and we suspect that they might be hypocrites or even call them that is because we know very well that beliefs lead to actions. You tend to act out the things you believe. So when they don't act out what we know that they already believe, we suspect or we find it fishy that they might not actually believe. We question their beliefs, and therefore we call them hypocrites. This is just basically why I think we call them that or condemn them that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing it out. It's an observation. The point of this video is, if you are looking for self-improvements, do not attack the person who gives you advice. Listen to the advice and not the person, and decide if it's good or bad for you. And be precise in your speech and analysis. I think that is healthy, and it helps us navigate the things around us better. I'm finished.